We've seen Blue Ivy on stage, at award shows, even walking red carpets like she owns the place. Rumi, spotted at Beyoncé's Renaissance tour and even at the Super Bowl, but Sir Carter, he's basically a ghost. No appearances, no cameos, not even a blurry paparazzi shot in years. And for the internet, that silence was enough to spark a storm of speculation. It's not that Beyoncé hides her kids entirely, she's just selective. But when 2 out of 3 show up regularly and the third is completely off the grid, yeah, people start asking questions. The rumors started swirling. Is something wrong with Sir? Why haven't we seen him? Is Beyoncé hiding something? And once that seed of curiosity was planted, it didn't take long for the internet to run wild. But these whispers didn't come out of nowhere. They've been bubbling under the surface for years. Long before Kanye West tossed his usual chaos into the mix, the internet was already buzzing about Sir Carter. His disappearance from the public eye wasn't some overnight mystery. It's been unfolding slowly, quietly, and very intentionally. Beyoncé might be private, but fans started noticing just how different things were when it came to her son. Blue Ivy practically grew up in front of the camera. She was on stage at the VMAs before she could tie her shoes, sitting front row at Fashion Week, and winning awards most adults could only dream of. Rumi, though less visible, still popped up here and there. Cute little cameos in Beyoncé's projects, glimpses at big events, even cozy shots with the family. But Sir, it's like he vanished after birth. No birthday posts, no tour appearances, no red carpet sneak peeks, not even a blurry iPhone snap through tinted car windows. And when you've got 2 siblings being seen, but one being completely left out, people notice. The theories started spreading like wildfire. Some said Beyoncé was protecting him from the spotlight. Nothing unusual there. Others weren't so kind. Rumors swirled that Sir might have developmental issues or health complications Beyoncé didn't want the world to know about. The fact that he hadn't been seen in so long only fueled the gossip. There were even dark, outrageous speculations. People whispering about whether Sir was okay, or if something had happened to him. Some of it came from curiosity. Some of it came from that nasty, entitled corner of the internet that thinks celebrities owe them everything, even access to their children. But here's the thing. Beyoncé isn't the kind of person who does anything by accident. If Sir is being kept away from the cameras, it's because she wants it that way. And she's made it clear, the less you see, the more peaceful her life probably is. Still, people kept talking, and they had one big reason to believe Beyoncé was doing this on purpose. Let's be real. Beyoncé didn't suddenly decide to keep Sir Carter out of the spotlight. This wasn't a random parenting choice. It was a reaction, a protective instinct formed from watching the internet tear her firstborn to shreds for existing. When Blue Ivy was born, she should have been celebrated. Instead, she became a punchline. Grown adults, celebrities, talk show hosts, and thousands of strangers on social media were clowning a baby. Her hair wasn't styled enough. Her features were too strong. Her expressions were weird. Think about how insane that is. A child who hadn't even started speaking was already being judged like she was a public figure. And it didn't stop with just a few jokes. Blue's every appearance was picked apart. Her natural hair became a trending topic. And not in a good way. People dragged her for how she looked next to other celeb kids, saying she wasn't cute enough to be Beyoncé's daughter. It was cruel, unprovoked, and relentless. Now, fast forward to today. Blue is 13 and stepping into her own. She's performing on tour, joining her mom on stage with confidence and grace. Most kids would have folded under that kind of pressure, but Blue's holding her own. And yet, she still can't catch a break. Critics are now picking apart her dancing, questioning why she's on stage at all. Comment sections are flooded with grown people saying she should stay home or isn't ready. It's wild. She's literally just living her life, growing up in the public eye. And for some reason, people treat her like she's fair game. Still. And Beyoncé saw all of it. She didn't forget the tweets, the memes, the shady articles. Watching your child go through that kind of scrutiny changes you. It makes you protective in ways the world might not understand. So when Sir came along, Beyoncé made a different choice. She didn't just limit his exposure, she eliminated it. No press, no performances, no public appearances. Not even a quick glance at a family outing. Because after what happened with Blue, Beyoncé knew exactly what the world was capable of. Sir's absence from the spotlight isn't strange, it's survival. And just when things seemed quiet, One of the loudest voices in the industry decided to speak up, and not in a good way. If there's one person who knows how to hijack a headline, it's Kanye West. And when he dragged Beyoncé's kids into his meltdown, things got real ugly, real fast. It all started when Kanye went off on Twitter, upset that Jay-Z and Beyoncé didn't publicly support him during his custody battle with Kim Kardashian. But instead of keeping it about the adults, he crossed a serious line. In a now-deleted tweet, Kanye called Beyoncé's younger kids "artarded." No filter, no context, just a straight-up attack on two innocent children who've never even been seen publicly. And it didn't stop there. He posted again, doubling down on the insult and saying having children through artificial insemination was a blessing. A weird shot at Beyoncé and Jay-Z's family planning. When the backlash started piling up, did he apologize? Not even close. He admitted the only reason he deleted the tweets was to avoid getting banned. Not because he regretted it, just because he didn't want to lose his Twitter account. Kanye said, "I need everyone to know I took the post about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's family down, not because I'm a good person." He even said he was mad about taking it down and blamed people on his team for convincing him to do it. Then he went further, saying Jay-Z and Beyoncé never helped him, accusing them of ignoring him during his darkest moments and claiming they could have stopped the Kardashians from running him over if they had just supported him. The rant was unhinged, emotional, and way out of line. And whether or not he was hurt, nobody could excuse dragging two kids into his personal mess. People weren't having it. Fans, media outlets, and even some of his own supporters turned on him for coming after children. This wasn't just celebrity beef anymore. This was reckless, personal, and cruel. And just when you thought the situation couldn't get messier, Hazel E. stepped into the chat. Just when the internet had fully turned on Kanye for dragging Beyoncé's kids into his meltdown, another unexpected name jumped into the drama: Hazel E. Yep. The reality star who's made a career out of chaos decided this was her moment to speak up. And instead of condemning Kanye's wild comments, she basically doubled down on them and then took things to a whole new level. Hazel appeared on Tasha K's podcast, which is already known for stirring up messy conversations, and casually tossed out a few opinions that set the internet on fire. Instead of showing compassion or even neutrality, Hazel backed Kanye's narrative. She suggested that there was something going on with Beyoncé's twins, specifically Sir Carter, and then implied Beyoncé was hiding the truth from the public. According to Hazel, there's some things the twins might have, and the fans just want Beyoncé to come out and be honest, be a voice for it. Instead of locking them away and acting like they don't exist anymore, let's be clear, there was no evidence, just gossip and insinuation being dressed up as concern. And then, she went even further. Hazel actually brought up one of the darkest, most offensive rumors that's been floating around in the corners of the internet, that Sir Carter might not even be alive. She said people have been drawing conclusions and pointed out that fans were questioning if Sir was unalive simply because they haven't seen him in years. No facts, no receipts, just bold, disrespectful speculation about a 6-year-old child. People were shocked. It's one thing to criticize an adult. It's another thing entirely to throw out baseless, dangerous rumors about a child who's never done anything but be born into a famous family. And Hazel did it with a straight face, on camera, as if she was making a valid point. The backlash was immediate. Fans tore into her online, dragging her from every angle. Tweets called her a clown, desperate for attention, and the definition of pressed. One user posted, "Hazel E. sitting on Tasha K's couch talking about Beyoncé's kids like she's an insider is insane. You don't know them, ma'am." Another said, "This ain't tea, this is disgusting. Leave those babies alone." People were furious that she felt entitled to speculate on a child's health and safety just for internet clout. Even fans who don't usually defend Beyoncé stepped in to say that dragging her kids into this mess was way out of pocket. Some even called on Beyoncé to take legal action, saying this level of slander was no longer harmless gossip. It was character assassination aimed at an innocent child. Others pointed out the irony. Hazel and Tasha K, both of whom have faced serious backlash in the past, were now calling for Beyoncé to be honest, while actively spreading damaging rumors. The overwhelming response? Hazel E. crossed the line, and she might not come back from it. But while Hazel stirred the pot, Beyoncé didn't say a word. She never does, because when she does move, it's always intentional. Instead, it was her mother, Tina Knowles, who finally stepped in to clear things up. While the internet was spiraling with wild theories and Hazel E. was throwing around dangerous speculation, Beyoncé did what she always does in moments like this. She said absolutely nothing. No Instagram statements, no interviews, not even a vague lyric. And honestly, that silence spoke volumes. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Beyoncé over the years, it's that she doesn't react to drama. She moves with purpose. Every post, every public appearance, every word, it's all calculated. So when she stayed quiet while people dragged her son's name through the mud, it wasn't because she didn't care. It was because she wasn't going to give the mess any more attention than it already had. But someone close to her did decide to speak. And that someone was none other than Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mom. In a rare moment of openness, Miss Tina spoke up about Sir during an interview. And what she said shut a lot of the speculation down. She explained that Sir is very quiet, very intelligent, and more into numbers and problem solving than performance and spotlight. Unlike Rumi, who's artistic and expressive, Sir simply doesn't enjoy loud environments or public attention. And guess what? That's completely normal. Tina said, Sir is not into fashion or the spotlight. He's just not that type of kid. She also mentioned that he doesn't like crowds or overstimulating spaces, which could easily explain why he's not at events or performing on stage like Blue or Rumi. There was no secret, no scandal, just a little boy with a different personality and different interests. Her comments were subtle, but powerful. They painted a picture of a family that knows exactly who their child is and is choosing to protect him, not hide him. Beyoncé's silence isn't mysterious. It's intentional. It's love in the form of boundaries. And let's be honest, does Beyoncé really owe the internet an explanation about her children? Or are we just so used to oversharing culture that privacy now feels suspicious? Because even with Tina's clarification, people still weren't satisfied. And the obsession with Beyoncé's family only kept growing, even after Miss Tina gently set the record straight, telling the world that Sir Carter is a bright, quiet boy who simply doesn't like the spotlight. The speculation didn't stop. You'd think that would be enough. You'd think people would respect the family's boundaries and let it go. But nope. For some folks, it only raised more questions. Because apparently, in today's world, privacy looks suspicious. If Beyoncé isn't constantly posting her kids online, people start acting like something's being covered up. If Sir Carter isn't seen waving from the front row or dancing at a concert, fans assume there's some dark, hidden truth. But here's the reality nobody wants to face. Not every child is meant for the spotlight, and not every parent owes the world a public update on their family. What's wild is the double standard. There are tons of celebrities who keep their children completely out of view. Think about Kendrick Lamar, one of the biggest rappers of our time, and he kept his daughter's existence secret for years. Nobody was demanding to see her. Nobody accused him of hiding a mystery. Same goes for Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. Their kids could walk past you on the street and you wouldn't even know. Where's the outrage over them? But Beyoncé? Let her hold back just one piece of her life, and suddenly it's a conspiracy. Suddenly it's, she's hiding something. Why won't she show us Sir? Is he sick? Does he even exist? People act like they're entitled to access every part of her motherhood, as if being a celebrity cancels out her right to privacy. And let's be real, it's not just about celebrity. There's a pattern here, especially when it comes to Black women in the public eye. They're constantly expected to explain themselves, to prove they're good mothers, to perform transparency at a level no one else is asked to. Beyoncé's every move is dissected, debated, and judged under a harsher lens than her white peers. And her silence, her choice to protect Sir, that becomes ammo for criticism, instead of being seen as what it truly is, love. And then there's the obsession itself. Why are so many people so pressed about a child they've never met? Why are grown adults jumping into comment sections, podcasts, and Twitter threads demanding to know what's wrong with a 6-year-old boy? This isn't just curiosity, it's invasive, it's entitled, and in some cases, it's just plain cruel. Sir Carter didn't ask to be born into fame. He didn't sign up for the headlines, the rumors, or the accusations. And yet, the internet talks about him like he's a public figure, instead of a kid who's just trying to live a peaceful life away from the flashing lights. So when people like Hazel E. or Kanye come out of nowhere claiming they just want honesty or transparency, let's call it what it is: manipulation. They're using a child to stir controversy, knowing full well that Beyoncé won't respond. Why? Because silence is her power, and they hate that they can't control the narrative. But here's the truth. Beyoncé doesn't owe the world anything when it comes to her children. Not an explanation, not a photo, not even a name drop. Her silence isn't suspicious. It's protective. It's deliberate. It's the result of years of watching the world tear down her daughter and doing everything in her power to make sure that never happens to her son. And maybe the real problem isn't Beyoncé's privacy. Maybe the real problem is that too many people feel entitled to what was never theirs to begin with. But even after all of this, all the rumors, the speculation, the outrage, one question keeps coming up. And maybe it's the one we shouldn't be asking at all.